Hello and welcome to Bergkamp Wonderland. We are an Arsenal podcast. We are no longer going to say the words good evening. That's very sad. With me tonight is Karl and Richard and Jason. Something happened today, and we're going to go to Jason just to say a few words about what happened this afternoon in London.
On behalf of everyone at ABW, our hearts go out to any of those affected by today's attack. We are thinking of everyone, and we hope nobody else is injured, and that our casualties keep as low as possible. It's not what anyone wants to see, and just God bless everyone affected by it.
In context to a manager losing his job, it's meaningless, him losing his job. But we will carry on because that's why everyone's here. I take it everyone's all right. Give me a little wave if you're all right at home and there. Carl's not all right. Karl doesn't. Hey, Karl's all right. Right.
Sorry, I was doing something that you told me to do, but I had my full concentration on it, so I've got it up now. So yes, I am. I'm good.
Good.
He was being too cool for school.
Right, I'm gonna go and have a look who's in the chat box, and I'm gonna ignore every single one of them because this isn't a live show, and I don't care about any of you scumbags. Right, I'm not going to go, hello to everybody in the chat box. How are you all? Spend an hour reading out all fucking names.
Who could that possibly be? Like Danny? I have no idea who that is, Danny.
I think it's Freddie Ljungberg. I've got no idea.
I thought it would be Josh. Done Josh accents so well then.
Not translucent legs enough. Right, so first thing we're going to do is come to Jason, and he is going to read out the official club statement, because that at ABW is how we do our shit on the backs of other people's hard work. Jace, go.
Okay, so this morning the club released a statement. We announced today that the decision has been taken to part company with our head coach Unai Emery and his coaching team. Speaking on behalf of the Arsenal board and our owners, Cronk Sports and Entertainment, Josh Cronk said, our most sincere thanks go to Unai and his colleagues who are unrelenting in their efforts to get the club back to competing at the level we all expect and demand. We wish Unai and his team nothing but future success. The decision has been taken due to results and performances not being at the level required. We have asked Freddie Ljungberg to take responsibility for the first team as interim head coach. We have full confidence in Freddie to take us forward. The search for a new head coach is underway, and we will make a further announcement when the process is complete.
Very good. So that's part one of the statements we're reading. Part two is from the Ornicle, the Ornstein, the Ornsteinio, the man who knows more than everybody at ABW will ever know, all combined, apart from Simon. Simon knows. Karl, what did the Ornsteinio have to say?
So he wrote today, like the supporters, the Arsenal hierarchy have harboured concerns for some time with the team's results and performances. There have been ongoing dialogue between Raul, Edu, Vinay, and the board of directors, in particular Stan and Josh Kroenke. Sanllehi and Vinay had a pre-planned visit to America this week, following Saturday's 2-2 draw at home against Southampton, and the conversation continued there. After consultation between the Kroenkes and the board members, the decision was made prior to the Frankfurt game last night. Oh, okay. So to me, that says whether he win or lost, he may have been fired anyway. Okay. Nobody knew this apart from a small group. Emery and his coaches arrived in London currently this morning and were preparing for training as normal. Only for Sanllehi to call Emery for a meeting. They were joined by Edu and Vinay. The news was delivered to Emery and his Spanish coaches. On arrival at Conley, the players and the backroom staff were gathered in the dressing room. Sanllehi explained that what happened. Edu explained why it was happening and issued a rally call. Vinay reinforced that, and Ljungberg addressed the squad briefly. This took all around 10 minutes. The players said their goodbyes and a one-to-one wished Emery and his Spanish coaches. Ljungberg is running training sessions, which started at 11 a.m. As we speak, Emery is to have taken all the news professionally, respectfully, and understanding manner. He is now departed. Ljungberg is finalising his coaching group, which should be named later today. The search for a permanent successor is on, but the club have high confidence in Ljungberg. The Swede is fully qualified in his UEFA Pro licenses. Arsenal want to find the best candidate to help him achieve his ambitions of returning to the Champions League and competitions for trophies. That will mean going through a thorough. Given faith in Ljungberg. This is no mad panic. It's impossible that the Swede could take the job on a full-time basis. However, he is viewed as a crucial part of the club. He was made assistant first-team coach for a reason, and the reason is because they deem him capable of stepping into the head coach if a moment arrived. And that is Ornstein's statement.
So I think we can go to Richard first because he's sat there. The only thing Richard can read out is his sick note from his doctor because the man is he's barely alive. So Richard,
he should be wearing a bell.
Bring out your dead. Bring out your dead.
So Richard, I think what we can take from that is the decision was made after the Southampton game, and like Karl said, even if we would have won 50-0 last night, he still would have been sacked. That Freddie is coming in, and they're hinting that Freddie isn't going to be the long-term manager, is he?
I think we touched on it, me, you, and Craig on the last podcast, where we kind of like the whispers and the feelings that we were thinking that by hook or by crook, Thursday was going to be his last day, his last match. Like the release that I think Ornstein put out a couple of days prior, which said that he will be in charge on Thursday. Just seemed rather odd to pinpoint that day. So I think it was coming. Not really much you can really say about that in defence for Unai. It was, I think it needed to be done. Our season was unravelling very, very fast. But it'll be interesting to see how long they have Ljungberg in charge for.
Good. Yes, Simon, who has the Gunner Talk, he has his own YouTube channel. He's very good. He's a man who supports Arsenal. It's a long story, but if you go and watch his channel, he'll explain why. He says, do you lads think it's interesting, the comments about Freddie from the board, that it's clear he's not auditioning for the job, just literally filling in Mr. Davis?
I do and I don't. I just think the statement released via Ornstein is an utter bag of nonsense. It's gotten to the point now where Raul is becoming the point of anger for fans, and so therefore they've got to do something. That's the truth of the matter. That's where we've gotten to. The club monitor Twitter, social media, podcasts like this. They'll monitor them all, and they'll know that the ire has gone past Unai Emery. It's now aimed towards Raul. That's why this has been taken. Okay. The big question now going forward is Raul going to appoint who Mendes wants as our Arsenal manager, or is Raul going to appoint the right man for the job? Because the truth of the matter is, I don't think this guy's up to it. I just think he's a hand puppet with Jorge Mendes' hand right up his backside, pulling the strings. That's my honest opinion. Okay, yeah. Today's action, and I don't want to have got Unai Emery. He looked broken last night, and it was horrendous to see that. Nobody deserves to feel that way. He'll get well remunerated. He'll go off. He'll take some time. He'll get another job. Good luck to the guy. I just think it was the wrong fit, and you've got to look at the environment at Arsenal at the moment. It's poisonous. Okay? It's really, really poisonous. You've had players openly taking the mickey out of Unai on the training pitch. This all started with the briefing from Raul, first against Ramsey, then against Sven, then against Darren Burgess. Raul Sanllehi is responsible for a poisonous atmosphere in that club, from what I can see. Okay? I may well be wrong, but that's what it looks like to me. And he's the one who's got to put the ship straight now. This isn't Barcelona. He needs to, get the club up and running, an honest, open, friendly environment, and get the right man in to take us forward. That's my honest opinion.
I agree with you. Right, Karl Archie's made a point, which I'm just going to bring up next. As you go, did you at the game last night, Karl?
No.
I can't say I blame you. Archie says, once fans don't show up, Kroenke reacts. That seems to have been kind of what happened when Wenger, well, a bit leading up to when Wenger was having his last few games of the season. And that happened last night. The commentator said it looks like half the stadium was empty. And then someone, I don't know where I heard this, said, you're in trouble when the away fans who aren't even meant to be there are making more noise than the home fans were last night. And I think that kind of sums up the whole thing last night. Couldn't go on, could it?
No, unfortunately. And I think it was kind of a double-edged sword because I think even if we were playing well, whether a load of people would have gone last night, I don't know. However, I think the empty seats spoke volumes, if that makes sense.
Yep.
It was... when I was watching it on TV, and I wasn't really interested in the game. I had it on in the background, and to be honest, I wasn't really watching. But when I looked at some of the pictures of the game, you looked at it, and the ground was very, very empty. It spoke volumes. And looking at it, you're thinking to yourself, do they look at that and think, okay, matchday revenue is obviously an all-time low, because if there's nobody in the ground, then there's nobody buying merchandise, there's nobody buying beer, there's nobody buying burgers and hot dogs and whatnot, what have you. So, a large portion of Arsenal's finances come from matchday revenue. So I think compounded with the result, I think that was probably one of the burning factors for obviously Unai leaving. It was, my personal opinion, it was long overdue. However, it does sound like what from Arsene, and you can't really trust the media, you never know, but that they made the decision no matter what was going to happen, even win, lose or draw. I think it just made it easier that the fact that we lost last night to fire him, because there was no excuse. I think, like Jason said, once the fans kind of turn against you, and I don't think there's any coming back. I genuinely don't. And it's been not very nice for a very, very long time. And like Jason said, because we then started to take the heat off Emery a little bit, and we started going towards Vinay and Don, Raul, we then was thinking, he must be seeing that and thinking, shit, they're now starting to turn on me. I need to do something about it.
I agree with that. And it seems to have worked. Right, quickly, I want to share with people watching the screen, and then, where am I? I've lost where we are. There we go. I was on the wrong one. No, I wasn't. This is the right one. Hey, there we go. I've got about 5 tabs open here, people. Right, if we go and have a look at the managerial stats for Mr. Emery, we see that he won 55% of his games. Now, I think we all realise that a lot of that was in the Europa League. But in the Premier League, I'm sure before the Southampton game, he had won 50% of all of his games in the Premier League. And so when you look back at stuff like Bruce Rioch, 46%, George Graham, 48%, Richard, why do you think his stats for the wins are so high, yet the fans are so angry? When you look at stuff like Terry Neal, 44%, do you think they've been too badly skewed with the Europa League runs that we've had?
Maybe a little bit, but also he was in a shorter amount of time than Terry Neal and George Graham and stuff like that. So that, they had a larger selection of games to choose from, and we weren't terrible. The team they inherited wasn't terrible. Like I know Arsene was on like a downslide kind of thing, but I think Arsene's last season, our home form to top my mind was still pretty decent. Like I think if you took just the home games, I think we came third. We would have come third in Arsene's last season. It was our away form where we fell off a cliff. So Unai came in and he had a decent starting off bridge, and I think it showed in the 22 game, however unconvincing it was, the 22 game unbeaten run. But it was just getting worse. So I think some of those stats are slightly skewed. Like see, he had the Europa League, a shorter amount of games, and also he had a better starting off point than a lot of other managers. Like the team that George Graham inherited were a bit of a joke and a mess, back in the early 80s. When Bruce Rioch came in. It was the dregs of George Graham's run where he lost the plot and he was buying. Was it his last two signs was like Hartson and Kwame? Was it?
Yeah.
It was just all a bit. Yeah, apologies. Mea culpa. But do you know what I mean? Like it was in the sense of Rioch had a worse starting position than all the rest of them. So I think it is a little bit skewed. But every other metric that if you take away those wins and stuff like that, every other metric that you judged Emery on, we are way worse than when he took over from. So unfortunately, you can have no qualms about him getting sacked.
Okie dokie, right. I'm going to put Jamie's donation up and cover up Richard because that's the only way I can do this. Thank you very much, Jamie. As always, chucking money at us, and I will take that €2 and stuff it down the front of Jason's leather. They're not their leatherette. They're pleather. His wife fronts because that's the way we have to do it with money on the show. Right, Karl. What have you got any thoughts before we come to Jason? He says all this is bullshit when it comes to stats. Have you got any thoughts on the managerial situation with as far as the stats go? Will he be looked back in history as 55%? What? Why so sad?
No, I think the 21 game unbeaten run masked a lot of deficiencies in Unai. I think that masked so many because we may have gone 21 games unbeaten, and I guess you can't look at that and not say well done. However, we played no, but I kind of agree with Jason. We played dire football in those 21 games. We wasn't very good. Like we were scraping wins, but we still. This is going to sound so weird to say, and I know Jason agrees with me. We went unbeaten, which is really good, but we played shit football. However, we still won some games. So you can't, in one sense, you can't really take it away from him because he went 21 games unbeaten. Well done. But our football from then, that's very early on. And I remember being on a load of shows with Jason saying that we don't have any style, we don't have any substance. We were literally, we were winning games, but we were not doing well. And then even the start of this season, without Aubameyang, where would we be? He was literally scoring goals for us where we were still playing really, really poorly. But however, we was sort of winning and drawing games that we probably had no right to. So the stats for me, I can find a stat where that says that Ozil runs the most in the league. However, you look at him in context and you think, well, does he? Do you know what I mean? So stats for me they're facts because you can't. A stat is not a fact. A stat is not an opinion; it's an actual fact. However, I think that Unai, it was the one thing he did do is unite the fan base because we all, I think every single person wanted him out. So that's one positive you could say about him. But I'm not sad to see him go. I think it was probably about 5 or 6 games too late that he should have gone. He should have gone probably the end of last season after the worst run we've ever had ever. But he's gone now, and it's time to think about the new manager.
Some very good points there. Jace, I'm just getting up that run of games. We can have a quick look at it. So stats, I take it you have no interest in the stats at all?
No, I mean, look, let's be fair to Unai Emery, okay? Okay, I've wanted him out for a long time, but that 22-game unbeaten run, he deserves credit for it. In exactly the same way, when we lost, he deserved, criticism for that. You have to take the rough with the smooth, and the big issue, as Karl's already spoken about, is even during that 22-match unbeaten run, I can look at Cardiff at home, Fulham at home, okay? Awful performances. Awful performances, okay? Where we were lucky to win. It's only due to the quality of our opposition that, we got through it, okay? Or those may have been after the 22-game unbeaten run, sorry. But, the United game away was awful. Huddersfield Town, well, they were rubbish. Qarabag were awful. Bournemouth, they were poor. Wolves, we were lucky. Sporting Lisbon, Liverpool, we played really, really well. We played really, really well there, to be fair. But, there's so many of those games we scraped past, isn't there? And that was the tough part about it. So, look, even with the 22-game unbeaten run, we lost away at Karabag. Was it Bate Borisov, Ren? It's been a painful tenure, and the big issue that Unai faced was he never improved on performance. Okay, not at any given point during his tenure at the Arsenal has he improved performance and built that confidence in the team to go out. People talk about beating Tottenham at home. I've got news for you. It's because he brought one player on at half time and he changed the game. Okay.
Jason, quickly, what player was that? Sorry.
I don't know. Can't remember.
John Arsene.
Oh, that's him. Yeah.
Sorry, boys. I'm a fanboy.
That's the Mikel Arteta. That's what that is.
But no, you go back, you look at the Chelsea game, okay? So Chelsea at home, one player dominated Jorginho, okay? In the cup final, out in Azerbaijan, wherever it was, Baku, that player dominated the game against us. You have to look, okay, at what's actually happened. And I'm sorry, Redo, but he didn't do himself any favours, and that's the real shame of it. So, good luck to Unai Emery. I just think it was the wrong job for him.
Richard, any wise words on that run? It was a lot for him to live up to, wasn't it? And none of us expected him to do that. I know at the Fulham one, I remember the live show that we did from there, and Jason was laughing at the fact that the Arsenal fans were saying we've got our Arsenal back.
That was the biggest load of nonsense I've heard in my life. And for all those guys, that's my manager. Yeah, fucking morons.
Richard, any thoughts on that run?
No, I agree with the guys. It was good that what he did. Like I say, you got to praise him when he does well. But we were very lucky and very shonky in a lot of them games. Like you come there, you think, have we won that game? And like in that season, we were still. I think what the shot deficit was it like -32 that year. So it's it's like I said, I bear Unai no ill malice. I don't hate him. I don't think he's just. I suppose he was a nice guy. He was just the wrong guy at the wrong time.
Very true. Right. Okay. Get rid of this nonsense. Let's go and have a look. Oh, Michael Hernandez has stuffed some more money down Jason's pants. Lovely. Would you gamble with Freddie till the end of the season if it meant getting the club's first choice in the summer, assuming the target isn't available now? Right. I think we should. There's another window that I want to bring up because save me having to read everything out. And this one I have ready. So it is a Chrome tab and it is the next permanent Arsenal manager. There we go. And if I can go back to my screen on here. Can we all see that? I shall have a quick look through and see what some of the people are saying. You have got Sky Bet, and actually, no, I'm going to read all their names, but you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 betting companies have all got Allegri as their first choice manager. And then we've got another another 6 that are saying that Freddie is going to be. And then there's another 4 that are saying Nuno Espirito Santo. I do not know how I managed to say that. There's 5 that are saying it's going to be him. Then Mikel Arteta, there's another 5 that are saying he is going to be their 4th choice. So from looking at all of this lot, you would say that Massimo Allegri, the man who did wonders, did 4 back-to-back doubles when he was with Juventus. His last season, he only won the league on its own. In the process of, I think they're about to come up on their 8th consecutive Italian Serie A title. That he's been said before that he's wanted to come and manage in England. He's been learning English for a few years now. He's been on a bit of a sabbatical, which means just wandering around, do whatever you want. Would start with you, Jace. Do you want Massimo Allegri in? And do you think that the bookies are never wrong, are they? I mean, you very rarely see a broke bookie, do you?
I'm not sure. Look, I'm not sure. I'd like to see Allegri in the job. I think, he comes with a body of work behind him and a wealth of experience, which would help this squad. Okay? I don't think it would be scintillating football. I don't think it would be dire, as many people have said. I think you'd get a nice balance there. Whether he wants the job or not is a different kettle of fish. When you look at that midfield, there's a dearth of talent in there, okay? There's a dearth of talent and experience that he's going to need in this Premier League. So he's the guy I'd go for personally, because he is pragmatic and you would get a style of play and these guys would know exactly what they're doing, okay? And he can only improve us. But as has been said by other people, this is Raul's decision, basically. Yes, he'll take some input from Edu. He'll take some input from others around the club, you know what I mean, Per and what have you. But this is going to be his decision, make no bones about it. He was a major driver between Unai getting the job. He wanted to give him a new contract at the beginning of the season, apparently. And I just don't trust this guy at all. There's nothing about him which says that he's going to make the right decision. I pray to God I'm wrong, but is it going to be a super agent like Mendes with his hand up his backside pulling the strings here? Or is this going to be the right manager for the team?
That is the worry.
Okay? Because I don't trust this guy. I can't tell you how much I dislike Raul Sanllehi. He's not... You come from Barcelona, okay, right? There's all sorts of dodgy dealings go on there, right? The club is corrupt to the core, right? And, you come in, okay, and now it's down to him. He's the guy with the experience there. He's the guy with the contact, and that really scares me.
Righto.
Sorry to just butt in. Who was when he was at Barca? Who was his managers that he had was involved in appointing and stuff like that? I know very little about his time at Spain, so I'm just asking the question. But who did he change over many managers? Was there do you know? What
I'm trying to find out when he was. He joined Arsenal in February 2018 of head of football relations. Doesn't say how long he was in. He was born in Barcelona. God, he's only 4 years older than me. Wow, he looks absolutely knackered. So it's yeah, I'm gonna go and have a little look. So Karl, have you got any idea about how many managers he might have covered? Because I've got no idea.
I'm trying to think. So he would have had Pep.
Yeah.
And after Pep, there was unfortunately the guy who died from cancer.
Yeah.
Was it Villanova?
Yeah, and then after him, there was.
I've got a bit more information here. It says he joined Barcelona in July 2003 until 2008 as marketing management. And then from 2008 to 2018, he was director of professional football, which is virtually the same job that he had when he was at Arsenal.
I don't think he was appointed managers, mate. I don't think he was appointed managers there. Okay? Yeah.
You don't think that was his job?
The president will take care of all that out there. It's the president who does all that, isn't it? His job out there will be greasing the wheels, being a middleman with agents and stuff like that. But it's the president at Real, at Barca, they're the ones who make the decisions, So, that's the way I see it. I may be absolutely wrong, okay?
Well, from 2008, it was Pep Guardiola, 8 to 12. Tito Villanova, as Karl said, was next, 12 to 13. Gerard Martino, 13-14. Enrique, 14-17. We've been linked with him a hell of a lot. And then Ernesto Valverde.
He's just gone back to Spain, manager, hasn't he?
A load of people, because he had some time off because his daughter passed away and he wanted some time off over the summer. And he's gone back to the job. They asked the bloke who took over as manager to leave. And he had a wonderful record. So there you go. I think I agree with Jason, you, Karl, that I don't think Sanllehi had much say in anything to do with the hiring and firing of the managers at Barcelona. Would you agree?
Yeah, I don't think that. I think he's come to Arsenal and probably given a bit too much power, if that makes sense. And he's obviously gone to tried and trusted friends because the fact that we can talk about we was linked with Mourinho, and I think that was a very big possibility that there's a chance that we could have got Mourinho. Thank God he's gone to this.
Hold that thought, Karl. Question from Pete Coulson. Sky reports that 50% of AFC senior management wanted Mourinho, which is your point. So if not for the dithering, that twat could have been our manager today. Do you think we dodged a bullet? So carry on with your point, Karl, and then answer that at the same time because they're related.
Yes, I do think that it was a strong possibility that we could have got Mourinho. I genuinely really do think that. I think if Arsenal pulled the trigger maybe 2 weeks before Spurs did, then Mourinho would be the next Arsenal manager, however sad that is. There's no doubt in Mourinho's talent as a manager. He is very talented. He's won trophies at every single club he's been at. So the man is a twat. The man is a flipping idiot, but the man is a good manager.
Self-control there, Karl.
But he is a good manager, and unfortunately, I hate to say this, and I remember John and I talking in the WhatsApp group, because when John first mentioned Mourinho, I was like, oh, hell no. But the man is a winner, and he does it by any means necessary, and he'll give them the first 2 season bounce, and I hate saying this, but I can see Spurs winning a trophy within the next 2 seasons, and whether that's the FA Cup, the League Cup, some sort of cup, he will get them a trophy. I have no doubt about that. However, we all know that the Arsenal will fall out of it within 3 years, and he will have them tumbling down the league. There will be people wanting to leave, Kane will fall out, Kane will get injured, or he'll want to leave, and he'll end up selling Kane or doing whatever. I still think maybe at the end of this season, because you still got Eriksen who haven't signed a contract, and you still got Vertonghen. Was it Vertonghen? No, the other one.
Alderweireld.
Yeah, he hasn't signed a contract. He's going to leave. So, the Spurs are going to have to spend some money. They're going to have to. They've got no choice. But I think that he will give them, like I said, he'll give them that bounce. But I can't wait for the car crash that is going to be Jose Mourinho.
I just want to take a moment to have a little bit of lightheartedness there. I was watching the Republic of Ireland play, I think, Denmark, and when Eriksen was taking a corner, the Ireland fans were singing at him that who was shagging his wife? Was it Vertonghen?
Yeah.
Vertonghen's at home. He's shagging your wife. And he's standing there waiting to take a corner. Oh, that's the beautiful side of football. Richard, have you got any thoughts on what Jason and Karl was saying? Because I'm starting to lose track of what order I'm going round in this at the moment.
What, regarding Mourinho?
Yeah, and just Mourinho. And do you think that Raul is going to have much say in who's going to come in now? Because someone, I don't remember who said it, but someone said in a podcast before Emery came in that if we get into bed with the super agents, then they're going to have their sticky paws, their hands up bottoms of all the big deals that are going on, and those deals won't necessarily be for the benefit of Arsenal. They'll be for the benefit of the super agents. I think that's what Dan Jace was getting angry about.
Well, like I said, after hearing what you guys are saying, I'm now bricking it. Like we're.
You put the willies up him.
I know. Raul has no experience in appointing a manager and doesn't know what he's doing. I think I saw a tweet from someone today that said that, we've got rid of Sven, who was like a mastermind in cultivating talent.
Sven
Mislintat, and just so we could get a dude who knows a couple of agents.
It does seem like that.
So yeah, this is scaring the crap at me. I don't know. I'm kind of glad we don't have Mourinho. I'm not a big fan. I generally kind of, unpopular opinion or whatever. I think he might be finished as a manager, but and hopefully he is. I don't know. I don't want to countenance Spurs winning a trophy, but it's you scared the crap out of me. I don't even know what to say now. I've now lost all faith that Raul's going to pick the right guy for the next job. I'm like, crap. What are we going to do now?
So if we had to, all of us, go back to you, Karl, then Jason, then Richard. Who do you think will be the next manager, and when do you think they're going to come in? Start with you, Karl.
Who do I think is going to be the next manager, or who do I want? Is it just think or want?
I don't think they're going to take any notice of what we want, Karl, because obviously
say this.
Chris.
Do you not think Raul's watching this right now?
Hello, Raul!
Who do I think is going to be the next manager? I genuinely think it'll probably be Allegri. I think that he's probably already having talks with Arsenal, and I think he definitely will be our manager will probably within the next 2 weeks, because he obviously knows all the agents. I think Raul will go for a big name. I don't know why. I don't see the reason for going for a big name. Like Jason, I think that our football will be a little bit defensive, because watching Italian football, Juventus, which is worse probably than the French league, that one-team league, that again Unai could not beat Monaco to the title, but we would say less than that. I just don't think Allegri personally suits Arsenal, and this is going to sound a little bit wrong, but I don't care, because I'm allowed to say it, because I'm ethnic. But I want someone who speaks English, perfect English, because I think that half the problem that Emery had was he couldn't get his message across because of the language barrier. Now, I don't know how well Allegri speaks English. I generally have no idea. He could be fluent. He could not be. Pardon? He's
been learning for the last couple of years, according to reports.
Okay, so he may be possibly fluent, and I'm hoping that he has a better grasp of English than Emery. But I just want someone who can come in and tell the players exactly the instructions, exactly what they want to do, and players can go out there and execute it. So that's who I think. Do you want to know who I want?
We all want Chris, don't we?
Obviously, and Jason as his assistant.
Yeah, other than Chris, who do you want?
Do you know, honestly, and this is going to sound like such an outside chant.
If you say Wenger, I'm cutting you off.
Why the I would honestly take a bet on Eddie Howe. I genuinely would. I think that man has got the potential with a better squad to do good things. I think just because he's at Bournemouth doesn't mean he can't go to another club, and he's got Bournemouth playing very, very well. So if it was me, if I had an opportunity, I'd give it to Eddie Howe.
Okie dokie, right. He's that _London_ guy. If you want to go and give him any grief on Twitter. Talking about getting grief on Twitter, Jace, who do you think is going to be the next? What?
Right.
Oh, so hello, do we wake you up? Yeah, who do you think is going to be the next manager, and when do you think it's going to happen?
I think it'll be Allegri. I think it'll be in the summer. But on an outside bet, Pochettino.
There is, I think a lot of it has got to do with Man United, and because we all know that the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I am a baby. You know he's going to get the sack, and then you know if Allegri's going to Allegri and Poch, they're both going to pick Man United over Arsenal, aren't they? So it's a matter of us pulling our drawers up, getting to the front door, and answering the postman to see what we've been given.
Look, he may not come. Okay, I think he'd be a good appointment. I really do. I shared Sir John Welsh's view on that. I wouldn't have been totally against what's his name? Mourinho coming. I really wouldn't, okay?
We all know John's a sadist, though, isn't he?
Yeah, but look, it's one of those, okay? I just look at it, okay, and I just think, they're winning managers. They've got a wealth of experience. They may go for somebody left field. You don't know. You just don't know.
Happened this time, didn't it? I mean, no one had heard of Emery.
Well, look, I know.
Spanish football.
A lot of people had heard of Emery. Come on, three.
I hadn't. I knew there was a manager in Spain who'd won 3 back-to-back Europa Leagues, but I didn't know his name. I didn't know what he looked like.
You're a Philistine, aren't you? Okay.
Yes, I am.
It's Dracula. Okay, it's Dracula. That's all you need to know. Okay, but it's a cutthroat business. God knows who they're going to go and get. I think it'll be Allegri. I really do. But me thinking and things actually happening are two different realities. There's been an announcement from Unai Emery, a letter of thanks to Arsenal. Do you want me to read it out?
Go on then. Do it in your finest dulcet tones.
Hello. Good evening. It's the first time I've said that. The following message is from Unai Emery. You're damn right. It's an honour to be the Arsenal head coach. To all the fans, I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for helping me to understand and feel the greatness of Arsenal. To all of you who have supported us from every corner of the globe, all of you who have come to the Emirates, all of you who have waited in the rain and cold just to greet me after the game, I want to tell you all that I have worked with passion, with commitment, and with effort. I would have liked nothing more than to achieve better results for you. I also want to send a message of gratitude to all the Arsenal employees for the way they have treated me. The greatness of Arsenal is in every director, executive, employee, assistant, and volunteer. In particular, I want to highlight Ivan Gazidis, who welcomed me to the club, and Raul Sanllehi, Edu, Vinay Venkateshan, for the respect, companionship, and help. Until the very last minute, I've been treated with honour and honesty. And of course, I send my sincere gratitude to the Kronk family for their trust. It has been a year and a half full of emotions, of great moments and of some other more bitter ones. But not a single day has gone by without me stopping to think about how lucky I have been to work for this club, to work with these players and their professional and personal qualities. They have always honoured the shirt they wear. They deserve your support. I've already experienced a lot in football, but I've enjoyed and learned a lot in England, in the Premier League, about respect for other professionals and about the purity of football. My very best wishes, as always. Come on, you Gooners. That's pretty classy from Unai. Fair play to him.
Especially as he knows as well. He knows more than we know, and we all feel that in one way or another he's been shafted a bit, hasn't he? Whether it be the support from the star players, whether it be the support from the owners, whether it's coming in to take over from the greatest Arsenal manager of all time, most would say.
He's made his bed, and it's difficult. Okay? It's difficult in that sort of environment. You know, let's be honest, it's not easy. Okay, you know, I don't think, you know, there's a lot of things that have happened. I think with the benefit of hindsight, he'd have behaved differently. Other people would have behaved differently, you know, and you'd have had different results from that. Okay, life is imperfect and people make mistakes. We all do, I know. But you know, it's really, you got to feel for the guy. You know, he didn't come here to fail, did he?
No. It's not like any of us have gone, oh, what an arrogant arsehole, like we would have said about maybe Mourinho and stuff like that. Richard, what's your thoughts on what those two have been talking about? Because I forgot the question.
I don't know what the question was, but regarding that statement, all is forgiven. Bring him back. That was lovely. No, as I said before, like, I've got no malice to him. You can't fault the guy. He didn't give you anything less than 100%. He tried desperately. It was just the wrong fit, the wrong man at the wrong time. It didn't blend together. Yeah, just a fair play. It was, like I said, a nice, lovely message kind of thing. Yeah, hopefully, like I said, we get the next one right, because it didn't work. But through no fault of his own. Well, not no fault, for no fault of trying. Sorry, shall I say? You could see that it hurt him. You could see, like Jason said a bit earlier, you know, you could see he was a broken man. It was hurting him, that performance that was happening last night, and he couldn't get it right. He was just for whatever reason, the fact that, you know, the decisions and whatever happened with Ramsey, the stuff with Ozil and stuff like that, the fact that, you know, his first choice right back, you know, blew his knee out. One of his first choice centre backs blew his knee out. Didn't have all of, you know, a lot of his defence for the first couple of games of the season. Everything just went against him, and he then just started chasing himself and coming up with bad ideas, trying to throw as much stuff at the wall and seeing what could stick. But like I said, I hold no malice to him, and it's a very classy statement. So, you know.
Agreed. Right, we're going to move to questions. We're going to start with, you're going to get one each. Start with you, Karl. From Richard Morris, who's always stuffing money down our pants, dirty boy. Says, talk about Poch. What about it? I'm not sure what to make of that question, so I'll hand it to you.
Would I take him? Yeah, I probably would. People can say, oh, he's 1-0. And they're right. He has 1-0. But then again, people were screaming for Arteta. And Arteta hasn't managed a game of football in his life. I think Poch, with a better... Is Pochettino a good manager? Yes, because when he was at Southampton, he had Southampton playing. when he went to Tottenham. Let's face it, Tottenham have been playing better football than us for a while. You know, whether you want to admit it or not, like, that's up to you. But they have been playing better football than us. He hasn't won a trophy, that's for sure, and it's a very hard thing to win a trophy, but you know, you can't escape that. However, do I think that with the players at his disposal at Arsenal, will he have us playing? I genuinely think he would. I think that he would flourish at Arsenal. So that's the only thing to really say, to be honest. I very much doubt he's going to come to us. I'll be very honest. I just can't see it. I think the Tottenham connection is a bit too much. So, yeah, for me, I would take him, but I don't think he's going to come.
Okay, right. Jace, thoughts on Arteta as manager from Luka Kolakusic? Don't ask me how I know how to say that.
Luka's been a long-time listener, hasn't he?
Oh, he has, yes. He's on the Twitters as well.
Yeah, we haven't seen him for a while, so it's good to have him back. But yeah, look, Arteta may well be the man. You know, he may be that kind of left field appointment, which is the perfect fit for the club. Right? We genuinely don't know. I hope they interview him. He was close last time. You know, he's got another year and a half experience with Pep under his belt. That can only help him going forward. You know, will he? You know, it's not just about getting the best out of the team on the pitch. Unfortunately, you've got to be able to get on with this management team as well, okay? Look, again, I'm going to bring it up again. We all know what Raul is, okay? He's the guy who'll brief the media. He'll brief against you. He'll do all these things. If he thinks it's the right man, he'll support them as well. Let's be fair. Okay, but you know, as with any job, you don't just manage downwards, you manage upwards and you manage sideways as well. Okay, and you've got to be able to do that. I like Arteta. I liked him as a player. He knows the club. I know it's a different management structure now, but I'm pretty sure he could survive and thrive in it. Is he the right man? I'm not sure.
Fair enough. Right. Richard, question from Archie. If Freddie drops Xhaka from the team, do you think that brings fans backing for the job? Now, last night, when it looked like Xhaka was going off just before half-time, he got a warm round of applause and everyone was being nice to him. So do you think the Xhaka issue is a thing of the past now?
Maybe not a total thing in the past, but it's definitely lessened. And both parties seem a little bit contrite about it all. I think Freddie will get the back in just because he's Freddie, because he's been, you know, he's an invincible, he's a legend of the club. So I think if he puts him in the side, I don't think the fans will really care too much, depending on if he keeps putting him in there, and he's putting in the similar sort of performances, and he's in the similar sort of setup as he was under Unai. But yeah, no, I think if he puts him in the side, I don't think the fans will turn on Freddie. Freddie's it's another, like I say, it's a smart appointment because Freddie's got this goodwill that's built up through years of spectacular service when he was a player here, and also, you know, him doing good things in the run up with the youth setup and stuff like that. So you know, I don't think it will matter too tough if he puts Xhaka back in the team. I thought Xhaka had a decent reception last night.
Jolly good. Right, going to go to the next question. Thanks for that. I'm going to answer this one because it's a long question and we can get it out of the way quickly. From My Bullet, it says, hello. Anyone who's played football knows that if you watch the opposition, even during warm-up, and solely focus on their strengths, you get intimidated. Did Unai focus too much on the opposition's strength? I think many people have said that he was reactive rather than proactive, and he often, he changed, even the last few games, he changed his tactic every single game, whereas we went for the other extent with Wenger. He kept the same tactic every single game. Now, there has to be a balance between those two things. You can change your tactics slightly depending on who you're playing, but not every single game after game after game, because then the players don't know who they're playing with. You don't know what formation you're going to be playing with. You don't know who you're going to be partnering with. You don't know what the tactics are going to be. And then partway through games, he changed it, then he changes it back again, and the whole thing is an absolute mess. So my answer to that would be you have to take some notice of what your position is going to be, but don't let it rule your formation, your starting 11 and your tactics throughout the game, because as we've seen with Emery, he was scared to lose and it wasn't going to work out. So, all right, next question. I'm going to scroll down until I find one. A question from Loki for it's Karl. I'll give it to you, Jace. Did you see Chambers and Tierney clap all the fans? When all the others pissed off, Chambers even remarked on the others leaving.
No, I didn't see that, to be honest with you. Look, let's be honest, last night's game was painful to watch. It must have been horrific to play in. You quite clearly saw the players had just given up even trying. Given up even wanting to look as if they're trying. It was horrible to watch. We did the live show afterwards, and that was just as painful to do. It's been brewing for a long time. It doesn't surprise me that that's happened. I think a lot of the time we get very hung up on this. Oh, they didn't clap the fans. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. In a perfect world, they'd all remember. They'd all go over. They'd all do it. But, this is a job for these guys. Professional footballers, they get wrapped up in work now and again, and they'll just, they'll head down the tunnel. They'll do something they regret. It's just been a really painful few months for this club, and hopefully we can draw a line under it now, make the right appointment. Hopefully Freddie does well in the interim, and we can move forward. But I wouldn't be too hard on people at the moment. It's just been a tough time.
Just all wanted to get out of there as soon as possible. Shit weather, shit game, shit atmosphere. All right, Karl, question for you from Marble Halls TV. He says, I'm glad Emery has gone. It had to happen, but then our recruitment needs to change. Which centre-back, central midfielder or winger would you buy, as these are prime positions we need? Or, I'm sure Marble Halls would add, would you spend 72 million on another player you have no intention of using?
I don't know about signings. We can't even talk about that because it will depend on how much money we have, which I don't think is a lot, and whether the new manager, what he wants to do. I don't think we're going to do very much in the January transfer window, just because, as we know, it's notoriously hard to get good players in the January transfer window. Do we need to sort out our centre backs? 100%. We have some of the worst centre backs ever. I don't, irrespective of what manager comes in, I think working with the centre backs that he has is just not going to be good enough. It's not going to be conducive to what we want to achieve. We need to get rid of Sokratis. He's not good enough. People talk about Mustafi. Oh, he's improved in the Europa League, but it's the Europa League. Look who he's up against. So I think that the next manager that comes in, if Allegri comes in, I think central defence would definitely be an area he's going to look at.
Okay, my friend Anna's turned up. She's a Liverpool fan. Have you got anything to say about Arsenal? Okay, on that wonderful note,
damning, isn't it?
Your Anna, wind your neck in, love. You're ball pushers.
I won't tell you said that, Jace, because I think you two follow each other on Twitter, and she'll find out where you live and kill you and eat your body. Right, question for Richard. This is going to be the last question from Jonas Segnanberg. I think I got that right. What does Freddie need to do to get Pep playing well? Hopefully, his own experience as a winger might help him. Just even getting Pepe playing would be an improvement over Emery.
Yeah, I think just give him minutes. Also, I feel sorry for Pepe in the sense of, he's come in with this big reputation, big money move, and he's come into a disjointed midfield, playing behind a disjointed midfield and playing behind a different right back every week. And two of them who aren't actually right back. It's really in the Conservative and Chambers. So I do feel sorry for. I think he needs consistency. I think he needs minutes. I think we also need to up our tempo as well with him. Unai's team was so slow, and like one of the things that was frustrating me last night so badly was how negative we were. So negative. There was so many times where we could have broke, but because the confidence is so low, and like you said, the fear factor just kept on turning back and going back to the centre backs and stuff like that. So I think consistency, he needs minutes, and we need to up our tempo. I think if we get those three things cooking, I think you'll see an improvement in Pepe.
There you go. Someone has pointed out here, Jace. Look at that. Look at that. Has Aaron Ramsey got anything to say about that?
Bear with me a second. The one thing I'd say in Pepe as well is you need midfielders who can speed the game up. Okay, and that's been his biggest problem. For me, one of the major reasons Unai's lost his job is he continued to pick Guendouzi in the middle. A talented kid, let's not knock him. Okay, he didn't cost. It's not Guendouzi's fault, but he hasn't got that experience, the discipline, or the ability to speed the pace of the game up, and that is something which has cost us. When everything is so pedestrian, you all of a sudden it's very difficult to change the pace of the game and to
it will come to him later in his career, and it's too much late.
But the thing is, which one of our centre midfields can speed the game up?
He's at Juventus, bro.
Karl,
No, which one of our midfielders, currently who are signed to Arsenal, Jason? Let it go, Jason.
Let it go.
I was going to do the same thing. Let it go. Hold it back anymore.
Embrace. What's Arteta got to say about the like situation? It's awful. When I come to your house today, so I'm going to bring my pen, my permanent marker, and I'm going to put a beard on him.
Anyone, okay? Thank you ever so much, Chris Outlaw. You are an absolute rock star. We love you for this. Thank you. There's 146 of you watching now. You're getting free content, okay, on a sad day for the Arsenal. And you're happy to come in here. You're happy to, this is my opinion. That's my opinion. Fantastic. We love your opinions. We want some more likes though first, okay? Because to be honest with you, 53 likes, it's embarrassing, okay? You've just let the side down. A bit like Unai Emery, you deserve the sack. Okay? Michael Anders, the truth of the matter is, it's never nice seeing anybody get the sack. I know Unai's got a big payout. It's not false
Fake news.
But it's just, it's not nice. He didn't mean to do anything wrong. But look, let's get fucking something straight. Tappy that like button. We should have 80 here, okay? 80 likes, please. That would be much appreciated. So let's get going and get on with it. Otherwise, you're going to feel like you're Unai Emery. You're going to feel the door hitting your ass on the way out. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. And what a wonderful way to end the show. We were only meant to do this for half an hour. We decided to do an hour because Karl and Jace and Richard wouldn't shut up. Right, that's it. Thank you very much for watching, people.
Plug. I'm going on with Ryan later at 9:00.
Oh.
So I'm going to be on Mr. Arsenal podcast.
Yes.
Okay, that's live.
Moonlighting again. Richard's already pointed out that you were moonlighting on another pod recently. Do we get a fee?
No.
Oh God! Are they going to wash you and rub you down with a damp cloth before they give you back?
Don't even get a bloody biscuit. Hold up there, Jamie. What's your question, bro? What's your question, Jamie? We've missed Jamie's question. Jamie always donates. Here we go.
Oh, here we go. I found it. There you go. You read it.
Does Freddie Ljungberg, with the respect of the players as a legend, get the best from Ozil, who seems to need an arm around the shoulder?
If anybody can, Freddie can. A creative, wonderful player, decent haircut. So there you go. I think he does. Does anybody disagree?
Yeah.
Shut your face. Anyone else disagree?
I think you'll do well with him. I think he's been there, done it, got the T-shirt. Rich, your opinion?
I know you shouldn't look too. Sorry, go on, Richard.
Yeah,
Sorry, Richard.
No, I was just gonna say I agree. I think he's, although he was a creative midfielder and he was a bloody hard worker. So I think he'll weed out any shirkers and things like that. And also he's being at that age and doing the youth team and stuff like that. I think he'll know when to give people a rollicking and when to put an arm around their shoulder. Hopefully.
Okie dokie. Karl, what did you want to say on that? We'll end on Karl.
I was just going to say, I just looked at Ozil's Twitter feed, and he's one of the only players who hasn't sent some sort of message to Unai. Said, "Oh, thanks, Unai." He's literally just said, "Oh, we crack on."
Sokratis didn't either. I was surprised by that. Or he hadn't done that thing. Yeah, he's rubbed too many people the wrong way, unfortunately, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he upset the apple cart. I just don't think he can manage big players. I mean, look what he did. I know PSG are not a very big club because they play in like a farmers league, but look what he did to Neymar. He sort of ousted Neymar. Neymar was obviously the world's most expensive player at the time. Pardon?
Neymar ousted him.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he's the manager or the head coach, whatever name you want to give him. He should have been able to manage a talent like Neymar. And obviously, Neymar saw that whether Neymar said he's not up to scratch to manage a game or whatever, we don't know what happened behind the scenes. But a high-profile player, he couldn't technically manage. Again, come to Arsenal, Ozil, a high-profile player that he either he didn't like or couldn't manage, however you want to see it. So, yeah, like Jason said, I just think he came in and I think he did rub a few people up the wrong way.
Well, there you go. We've gone more than an hour, which we shouldn't really have done. So I won't ask if anyone's got anything to say because no doubt you will do because you're all scumbags. No more questions. Thunder Road giving me grief. You're a little shitbag, Thunder Road. And I know where you live. Well, I don't actually. Yeah?
Is Thunder Road behaving now?
Oh, he can do what he wants. He's he tickles me with one hand and he gives me a slap with the other when I'm all purring because he's a bad man. Right. Thank you very much, Karl, for joining us, Jason for joining us, and Richard for joining us again. We've now got his situation sorted out. So thank you very much, gents.
Goodbye. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much to the listeners, the viewers, and the people at home on the bus. I'm not sure. I suppose this has to go on iTunes, doesn't it? God, that's another hour of my life wasted. Right, this has been a Bergkamp Wonderland. We are an Arsenal podcast. We have Freddie in charge. Freddie's at the wheel. Oh, what wonderful words.
Danny, switch your shit off.
I was about to say that. You've ruined the ending. I'm just going to press end now. Right, that's it. You ruined it. Goodbye.
Yeah.